Who here remembers the fly pass that 425 did during the Grey Cup last year? Put up your hands.
Darcy Molstad is the connection between the Alouettes and their past.
Your historical link is powerful, and we're going to use it to our advantage.
425 Alouettes was a squadron formed during the Second World War.
It's a French squadron composed of only French-Canadian fighting pilots.
One of the founders of the Alouettes, Lou Heyman, was a member of the Royal Canadian Air Force during the Second World War. And so he knew the significance of the 425 Alouettes.
I really don't think that we understood fully the connection, not only historically, but the legend and emotionally the connection between the 425 and the Alouettes.
You look at guys on your team and you don't see them as nationals or Americans or internationals. You just see them as an Alouette, part of this 425 connection that we have, all for one common goal, and that's to win a Grey Cup.
I just am there to try to pat them on the back, help them feel motivated, remind them about their historical link with 425.
On 9 November, your last home game, on the last note of the national anthem, 425 Alouettes are going to fly over once again.
The thing that gets lost in all this is he's still a full-time general. He's still a full-time employee of the military.
Darcy Molstad's full-time job is Chief of Force Development. As such, he synchronizes and integrates the activities of the Canadian Armed Forces, producing tactically decisive strategies.
There's a lot of people that rely on him for what he does. For him to spend any moment with us or with me and trying to help us get better and win another championship means a lot.
Molstad's relationship with the Montreal Alouettes started at the beginning of last season.
I was intrigued by the military aspect of the naming of the franchise and the connection between the Alouettes and Montreal. And I asked Mark Waitman, our president, about that a little bit, and he's saying, I would like to connect with somebody.
Mark called me specifically because he and I know each other. He was an honorary colonel of the 425 Alouettes when I was commanding officer from 2012 to 2014. So we already had a relationship, and he knew that I'd be able to teach Jason about the history and heritage of the 425 Alouettes.
And from there, it was a lunch, and we talked about a lot of things. But then all of a sudden, there started to be a lot of commonalities between the two of us and a lot of like-minded vision.
I think we're aligned in our thinking in terms of discipline, leadership, and team building. And he asked me at the end of that day, Darcy, would you like to be an honorary coach of the Montreal Alouettes?
Molstad's tenure began with an inspiring talk to the team.
The first time we met Darcy, and it was super interesting. I still remember the speech. He asked us, who's the leader in here?
Every year you have 4 or 5 captains, and so those guys raise their hand.
And then I asked a couple of them, so what do you think it is that makes you a leader on the team? And they gave some great responses about why they're leaders. And then I carried on in my discussion with them, and I talked about leadership from my perspective is that everybody in a hierarchical organization, no matter what rank you are, is a leader.
You don't have to be the starting quarterback. You don't have to be an elected captain to be a captain of the team. Everybody plays their role, and everybody has an opportunity to help one another.
At the end of the discussion, I asked that survey once again, and then this time, instead of raising your hands, I said, so team, now after we've discussed leadership and what role you play, who here is a leader? And of course, what I wanted was everybody to stand up, and that's what we saw.
Motivating speeches.
Everything you do from now until 9 November will determine how you play on 9 November.
Letters to the team. Encouraging words from the sideline.
Awesome. Have a great game, Joe.
Let's go, Joshua. You beat tough today, buddy. Way to go, D. Way to go, guys. Good work.
Molstad's influence on the team cannot be denied, but the transfer of a military term into football vocabulary has had the largest impact.
The OODA loop is something that he taught us that the fighter pilot goes to when it's time to make a decision.
And it stands for observe, orient, decide, and act.
When he first brought it up, I just remember thinking he's pretty much explaining my job as he was talking about fighter pilots and how they go through their OODA loop and how they have to make split-second decisions that affects everybody around them.
I explained each one of them and how they can, as football players, make decisions quickly because you have to observe things rapidly just as fighter pilots have to. You have to figure out what that means and orient yourself to what that means and ensure that you don't let your biases get in the way of creating good courses of action.
If you make the wrong decision, you have to stand by it. And that's where I think I grew as a leader, was understanding the OODA loop and understanding that sometimes you make a decision in the OODA loop and you're going to be wrong, and you have to learn from it so that the next time you get put in that situation, you're able to make a better decision.
Another aspect of military life that Molstad brings to the team is connection.
How are the big guys doing?
Yeah.
Ready to hold line?
Hell yeah.
Yeah?
Joint operations is symbolic for the military as it is for the team. Joint just means the Army, Navy, Air Force, Special Forces, cyberspace, all working in synchronous ways in order to achieve an operational effect. And for Jason and the team, that joint operations is the same type of thing. It's offense, defense, special teams working together. It's the different elements of each of those teams working in synchronous ways on the field.
He gave Coach Moss these actual coins, and it's 4 coins. 1 coin is for offense, 1 coin is for defense, 1 coin is for special teams, and then the last coin is the coach's coin. And it takes those 4 coins in order to come together to win a football game.
My goal has always been just to give them 1 or 2 extra goosebumps on their arm, give them that extra connection with their history and heritage, help build those intangible strengths of a team.
Prior to last year's Grey Cup, Molstad sent the team a video.
I challenge you to treat every play like it's your last. Fight for your teammates, your family, your history, your fans.
He got to witness that battle from the sideline in Hamilton.
The Owls are the 2023 Grey Cup champions.
And join in the celebration after.
He's part of this team, and he was with us every step of the way last year with the Grey Cup.
Here's an actual fighter pilot, the leader of the fighter pilots, standing with the leaders of this football team. And what greater connection of that legend between the 425 than the Alouettes than what you see there.
It's a lot of hard work to be in the military. It's a lot of hard work to be a coach. And whenever you can find someone that you can talk to about it and share moments with and someone that helps you get better, it does mean a lot to me.
I don't think about lifting any cups above my head. I think about being there at a game, giving a pat on the back, making sure the team feels like they're supported for me in my honorary role, and supporting them in any way I can.